Awakening and enlightenment and liberation is available here now for everyone. But as a first step, we need to come into radical honesty with ourselves. We need to look at all of the material that's been repressed. We need to be honest with ourselves about what even pulls us towards the idea of liberation. It might at first seem that there's a intellectual curiosity about it, but ultimately I found that it's a pull not unlike of a moth to a flame. It is our continued development as a soul, as a human, as a species, even on a collective level. And it's inevitable. The same way that a child cannot remain a child forever, we too grow beyond human adulthood into spiritual maturity through this process of awakening. And again, in order to initiate the process, we need to open the proverbial Pandora's box, which is all of the repressed emotional content that we've been escaping all of our lives. That is all of the things that we rather not touch, we'd rather not admit to ourselves, even though it is running our life. It is running our life, and to some extent, very likely ruining our life, even if we're not entirely aware of that being the case. So, the reason why we need to integrate our shadow and everything that's been repressed is because awakening leads us to the place of a radical acceptance of everything, of all of the creation. For everything is divinity in form. And hence the term non-duality. We're coming into recognition, into the recognition that everything is a dream, everything is God's mind exploring itself. If you don't like the word God, say the universe or the absolute or the life itself, spirit, soul, it doesn't really matter. This carries many names, and yet no name is adequate because this is beyond concepts and even beyond names. And yet, as we begin to touch it, and perhaps you are before that step, or you've started to scratch the surface of it, you've started to have glimpses, then it becomes a embodied recognition of what I'm talking about. It no longer needs to be dissected by the mind. And as part of the non-dual whole of creation, which we inherently are, we're just fractals. We are it, and we are also a fractal. We are like waves on a massive ocean, but we're also the ocean itself. There is not really a separation. And that means that we need to include and open our hearts to the alpha and the omega and everything in between. That means not only light and love and good vibes only, but also the shadow, the suffering, the hurt, the repressed things, the shadow that is lurking just outside of our conscious awareness that we're not integrating about ourselves as this character and also on a collective level as humans. Everything that is going on in the world right now, the current affairs, everything that we might dislike about what's going on in the world is also part of who we are. Again, God, quote unquote, God is in everything. It's in both life and death, in pleasure and suffering. And so, as part of this path, we need to open up to all of that inside ourselves. And then comes a usually rather long process of integrating our shadow and unwinding a lot of stagnant energies that we've been carrying since childhood because we were born into families, most of us, and into a society that's ignorant. It's ignorant of our true nature. And so we've been conditioned from a false view. We've been conditioned by leaders, elders, caretakers that were ignorant or simply unaware It's not negative. It's just that they've been unaware. They haven't, as a society, we're rather young. Not a lot, there's not been a critical mass of people that have undergone this process yet. So it only makes sense that our leaders are unaware of the next steps for us as a society and are rather incapable of leading us in that direction due to no fault of their own. So it is really up to us individually. It's almost like a grassroots movement, even though it's not about activism. It's not about feeling that we need to make a change. This is naturally occurring. This is evolution. You cannot stop it. You can just go with the flow. You can resist it. I wouldn't recommend it because this is so much stronger and bigger than any one of us. It is life itself, growing, expanding, maturing, and ultimately playing this game with itself for no other reason than for getting to know the potential that it holds. For when it is unmanifest, it is just pure potentiality. It is sort of like, imagine a person that could grow up to a best athlete, best footballer, what have you. But until you put them through the training, the necessary training, and until that career kind of manifests and unfolds, all there are is just pure potential. And similarly to life, in that singularity, in that void, in that emptiness, which we are, until it becomes manifest as me, as you, as this world, as this exact state of affairs that we have in the world today, and in a parallel universe, something completely different, it will only remain a potential, only pure potentiality. So in order for it to manifest into form, that's exactly you and me sitting here interacting in this way, getting to know what it's like to be me talking to you and you being on the other end receiving this and feeling something inside of you resonate with this message. This is exactly part of the experience of what it's like to be human and yet to be God. And this is the process of awakening as we begin to know ourselves of the fractal of the much bigger whole. And we are both at the same time. We are God embodied in human form. We are life itself. And that is profoundly beautiful. And what more is given to us through this process, the fruits of the awakening path is the liberation from everything that's been subconsciously running our life. And we become conscious creators to choose the relationships, the work, the responses to worldly events, everyday stuff from a much more conscious and grounded place once we have owned all of the repressed stuff that's been dictating how we not only respond, because response implies that we're consciously choosing the response. Here is actually way worse. It's we're talking about reaction, reactivity, where we've been reacting and we've been practically slaves to our own reactivity, because a lot of us probably feel like we're not really in control of how we react in a lot of the situations due to past hurt and past conditionings and all of these stagnant energies, or using IFS terminology, all of our exiles and protectors that are burdened in special ways, making us unable to live from true essence of just being an expression of beauty and love. So again, as a first step, we need to turn to our suffering, and for that we need radical honesty and authenticity to really admit to what we're carrying with us in our backpack. And all I can say is that it's a magical and exciting and beautiful, and yet to some extent very strenuous path, or at least that's what it seems like from the vantage point of the separate self. And yet it is only the divinity pulling you back into itself, even though to the character it might seem like you're moving towards something. It's really that which is pulling you back into itself. So as part of the path, there is a moment of surrendering to it and allowing ourselves to just flow with the evolution, with the river of life. And from there, it increasingly becomes a much more an experience of much more freedom, of vastness, of beauty, of love, of connection. And yet it starts with acknowledging the ugly, the pain, the suffering, both that we have received and that we have caused. And it's not that we have to repent for it. It's not that we're sinners or that we're broken. We are already inherently whole. But in order for our ego to begin the process of transfiguration, of dissolution, we need to come into full conscious awareness of everything that we are, including that which we rather not admit to. So if you enjoy content like this, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel to see more of this. That helps me grow my channel and create more videos like this. And please leave a comment below if any of this resonated and where you are on the path. I would love to hear from you. See you in the next video.